Hi, I'm John Coleman, one of the co-founders of Celebrating Act Two, here with my co-founder and partner,
Art Kirsch.
Art Kirsch, the co-founder partner. Listen, partner, we were going to talk about what today? Downsizing. Downsizing. Tell me about downsizing, because you've downsized a couple of times.
Well, we actually downsized once. We've moved about 5 or 6 times for jobs and location and things like that, particularly back in New York. And when we moved to California, we had a huge house, 3 kids, 4 bedrooms, bonus room, living room, dining room, garage with a full loft over it. So we had a huge amount of space. And when our youngest was in his last year or so of college, we decided that it might be time to look around and downsize because we had an enormous place and the upkeep was pretty horrendous.
Yeah, we had a similar situation in that we had bought a large piece of property, kept horses there, had a barn, a guest house, a house, and the kids would go away to college. And we're left with not only a lot of maintenance for the property, but a lot of bills. The watering the pasture for the horses was getting very expensive, and there was nobody there to use it. So we decided we need to, get rid of a lot of that property. We downsized to a 2-story condo, which was very nice, but it was still, only a few years later, well, maybe 10 years later, we realized we needed to downsize to a 1-story building. Climbing the stairs wasn't a problem yet, but we could see that, somewhere down the line, we're going to not want to climb any stairs. How many did you downsize after that?
So no, we downsized to our current location. We downsized to nominally a 3-bedroom, a 2-bathroom house in a over 55 community. We probably should have had an extra room because when we have guests, one of the bedrooms is my office. One of the bedrooms is my wife's office, and actually is an archway connected to the living room.
Kind of a den more than a real bedroom.
Sort of kind of a den.
Yeah.
Some people do close it in, but it's an extra room would have been nice. But quite frankly, it's maintained by the
association
committee and everything else. So, and it has pools, and we never had a pool. My wife used that sometimes for exercise. But by the way, the downside is that they don't allow grandchildren in the pool. So
and you're a guy who would love to have the sound of children nearby.
The one thing that I don't like about our development is that there are no children in it. And to me, my wife loves it. It's nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Trick or treating, a whole new level of nobody rings your doorbell. But it actually wasn't so bad. But so there are pluses and minuses, but overall it's a big plus. Now, you've downsized twice. You tell us about the current place that you're in and how it solves my grandchildren problem.
Well, like you, we downsized. We moved a lot, but we downsized really twice, maybe 3 times tops. First downsizing was to get rid of the big piece of property. Second downsizing was really not much of a downsize. It was to move closer to the kids. And then the third time we downsized was to move into an over 55 community. And we were well over 55. But it was a great community because, first of all, it's new, so they have all the amenities you can possibly imagine. But it's right next to, it's part of a larger community, and the non-over 55, the family community is right next door. Nothing but a gate holding the two of them back. So if you don't want kids, you just don't go through that gate. If you do want to hear the sound of kids, you go through the gate. You've got playgrounds, you've got kids.
No, but also your clubhouses are adjacent so that if you want, you can bring your grandchildren into the larger community.
Right. So we have guests
best of both worlds.
Guests and grandchildren, and both communities have, because they're so close, they don't share a clubhouse, but they have their own clubhouses, and both communities have all kinds of social clubs and activities and stuff. So it's really downsizing, whether you're downsizing for economy or whether you're downsizing for a smaller place, or downsizing because the kids are gone. Whatever the reason for downsizing, it's really a good idea to look at those over 55 communities. Now, I'm not sure everybody can afford them. Sometimes people downsize and go to live with the kids, you know, they build a granny flat out of the garage or something. But whatever the reason is, I think once you're over 50, you have to consider that. You have to look at the possibility of whether it's not wanting to climb stairs or not wanting to pay a mortgage or not wanting to be alone. You know, I mean, a lot of people, I remember growing up, there were a lot of old people who just lived in the community, and they were, some of them lived with their children, but some of them lived alone, and they didn't, you know, if they were a neighbor, you'd kind of check in on them and stuff. But they didn't really have anybody. They were just living. They were just, you know, maintaining their apartment or something.
Also, I think that some of the people, particularly back east, now we're both Southern California now, but we're
Right.
both from the New York City.
That's New York.
New York, yeah.
New York, yeah.
But I was on Long Island for a while. So some people move into the city so that they don't have to drive.
Yes.
And
To be
everything
part
is a
of-
walking distance.
Yeah, to be part of a community.
Right.
Yeah.
And Chicago's a great city for that.
Right.
Toronto. LA, it depends on where you go, but there are plenty of communities, and there's public transportation
Sure.
that you can get around to the museums and things like that. So,
Sure.
you know, everybody will have a different thing. If you have grandchildren, you tend to want to live near them, but then the kids are scattered all over the country. They get their promotions and their
Exactly.
relocations,
And they
as well.
move again, just like we did over the years.
Right.
You move from city to city, follow the jobs or whatever it is.
Now you have, we had a great realtor, but you have a realtor who I've met who talks about a lot of these things
Yes.
on our website. But
Leslie Eskelson, yeah.
why don't you say a little bit about? talk a
Well,
little bit about her.
Leslie helped us sell one of our houses, and she was very good. When it came time for us to find somebody to give advice to people over 50 for Celebrating Act Two, we called Leslie, and she did what, 4 videos maybe?
I
Three,
think so.
three or
yes.
4. Anyway, they were great videos, and they're really from a selling and buying your house perspective. But it's all for people over 50. There's something that happens when you're over 50, and I don't know what it is, but moving, you've probably moved a couple of times.
Yeah.
Moving again just doesn't hold a lot of fascination.
Yeah.
And I think some people hesitate to downsize because the problem of moving and going through the craziness of selling your house and listing it and then
But
buying
if
another.
some of our listeners here who are a little bit older, who've moved a couple times, it's easier to get rid of junk. You're not that attached to anything anymore. Anybody want it? No, gone.
Well,
Sorry,
yeah.
you should have asked me yesterday. I offered it yesterday. Now it's in the trash.
Yeah,
Or Goodwill.
talk to my wife about that. I hold on to junk forever. So everybody's different.
Which makes you a great partner because I don't have to worry about you dumping me so quick.
Everybody's different, and everybody's going to want to downsize at a different age. You were well over 50,
Right.
maybe 60 or so when you
I was about
downsized.
60.
We
We
hesitated.
moved several times, but when we made a conscious decision to get a small place,
Yeah.
we were about 60.
Yeah, I remember my friend Dennis, who you know, Dennis, and I remember when he moved into an over 55 community, it's an over 50 community, and I turned to him and I said, Dennis, you're too young. Why are you moving to? I pictured him with gray hair and on a cane, but it was a great move for him. He got rid of a lot of tax burden on his house. He got rid of
The maintenance.
the maintenance of a house. He moved in with people mostly his own age, and granted, in a over 50, 55 community, there's all kinds of generations. There's people who are 55, 65, 85, you know, and so, but he made a lot of friends. It was a very good move. And it wasn't for easily 10, 15 years later that my wife and I moved into an over 55. And we're very happy. We think it's a great idea. It's not for everybody, you know, but downsizing should not be, scary? It shouldn't be.
Yeah, and it's a move that makes sense if it makes sense for you, but particularly if climbing stairs is a big thing for you, and a lot of people have multi-story houses,
Sure.
Or you want to get closer to the grandkids or not have so much maintenance. But John, so Oprah has not called yet. I'm waiting for the call, and we'll be really famous, and everybody will know our website. But why don't you run us out and tell everybody where they can see Leslie and more vlogs as we add to this collection.
Hint, hint, hint. All right, so the website is called Celebrating Act Two. It's basically for anybody over 50, actually for anybody thinking they're ever going to be over 50.
And that could be some of you.
Yeah.
Most of you.
And it's for, it's to help you live, navigate life. It's the second half of your life. There's a lot of things that you're going to want to do. We hit that age of 50, we realized that nobody's helping us do this. And we came up with Celebrating Act Two. So it's chock full of good information, good people like Leslie Eskelson, giving you advice on how to sell your house if you're over 50 and how to buy a house and how to downsize. So go to Celebrating Act Two. We'll see you soon.
See ya.